Gillis, and I'm the media coordinator for the Dzawada'enuxw First Nation, and also managing the Wild Salmon Defense Fund, which is the fundraising arm of a series of the legal challenges that are being made here, including this one today. I'd like to acknowledge that we are privileged to be gathered here on the unceded Coast Salish territories of the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations. Today marks the launch of the third phase in a series of legal challenges to fish farms by the Dzawada'enuxw First Nation, which began last May 2018 with the launching of their title claim and associated challenges to the provincial tenures for fish farms in BC Supreme Court. What we're doing here today, or observing here today, is a historic legal action, the first ever Aboriginal rights-based challenge to the federal licenses that fish farms require to operate. We are joined today by both the traditional and elected traditional leaders and elected leaders, as well as Willie Moon, who's a traditional leader from the Dzawada'enuxw First Nation, the community of Kingdom Inlet on the BC coast. The program today is as follows. I believe I see the man of the hour sneaking in here at the back. So we've got a place for you right up here. Jack, come on in.
Yeah.
Okay. Just going to take a pause here for a moment. The program today is as follows. Brief remarks from four speakers seated to my left here, followed by an opportunity for media to ask follow-up questions. We're also able to facilitate one-on-one interviews after the press conference is over, and we'll ask the general public to clear out. And we also have files and a copy of the statement of claim and other things at the back here, which I believe you're aware of already. So the four people that you're going to hear from today are Farron Sukachoff, who is the elected chair of the Dzawada'enuxw First Nation. Willie Moon, Okwilagame. Did I say that right, Willie? Close enough? That's a traditional name. He's one of the traditional leaders of the Dzawada'enuxw First Nation who lives in Kingdom Inlet. We're also joined by Eddie Gardner, at the far end there, who's the president of the Wild Salmon Defenders Alliance, which is based here in the Lower Mainland. Broad coalition of First Nations and allies that has been a powerful opponent of open net pen fish farms for a number of years, and a generous supporter of the Dzawada'enuxw First Nations legal campaign. And finally, Jack Woodward, QC, lawyer for the Dzawada'enuxw First Nation. He also represented the Chilcote Nation in their landmark title and rights case, which is in many ways a foundation for the legal action that you're hearing about here today. Before introducing our first speaker, Mr. Sukachoff, I would like to point out that there's also an event this evening at the UBC's Belkin Art Gallery, which is open to the general public from 6 p.m. And this features a number of Dzawada'enuxw artists, both established and up and coming, along with other Indigenous artists, 14 in total. It's a phenomenal multimedia exhibit at the Belkin Gallery, and it addresses the impacts of colonization and industrialization on the territory of the Dzawada'enuxw peoples, including fish farms, of course. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the elected chair of the Dzawada'enuxw First Nation, Farron Sukachoff.
He's also a traditional leader as well.
He's also a traditional